Okay, so what's I think is really cool now is that you kind of start in space. I've changed the music, so it's more ominous. Is that the word? And you kind of have this, when I click host game, it kind of pans the camera to the planets. You see kind of the sun in the distance here. And so now we have like a leveling structure, or like a map kind of structure, or progression, high abstraction structure. And again, when you click a planet, it like zooms nicely in. And now a level represents like the main progression is like going through the actual planets. Controls to be super intuitive and very, very simple. So the default way of controlling the tank is that you hold, like you press down and you just move your thumb. And this is surprisingly difficult to tune to make that feel good, but now it definitely feels really good. But you can also choose now to do like follow mode. So you can like put your finger on the phone and the tank will actually follow your finger if you prefer that. Or you can have this joystick mode where the joystick, so kind of in the first control, you hold your finger and you move your thumb, and that's going to turn the tank, right? But the joystick mode is when you press down and you move your thumb up, the tank is going to drive upwards no matter what the current direction is, and then left and down and right. So you kind of just choose what direction, and you kind of turn the tank by changing the direction you want it to move. But I prefer this one. But I like when systems interact with each other and it becomes a bit more complex. So we have a few different systems here. One of the systems is what's called loadouts. So loadout is what enables you to basically configure your tank and its purpose, where the initial loadout is just having a drill rig, but here you can add a radar, you can mount a minigun, and there's going to be like many different loadouts there. But that's kind of important for cooperative play, where you can take on kind of these different roles, where one might use the drill rig and the radar to go mining, while the other person might choose radar and a minigun to go and just kill a bunch of enemies. But let me... and it was actually surprisingly hard to create a trailer, because initially it was like a direct trailer like you have on your car, but it just didn't feel right. It was kind of like swiveling, or what's the term? But now what I realized is that it needs two joints. So it has like a ball joint on the tank and a ball joint on the trailer, and then like a drag beam or whatever it's called between it. So the tank swivels and the trailer swivels, and that makes it feel much more natural. And the reason I added this trailer is I initially was because I just wanted to have an excuse to, for slowing down the tank. Like you had, and then I added XP because it had to make sense to shoot the enemies, right? So currently it didn't make sense to shoot enemies because you only had the minerals. But the XP is what you get from shooting actual enemies. And this blue one is actually an enemy that's kind of too high tier for me. But I want to teach the player that that those enemies exist. And you can take them out, but it's going to be rough. And when you upgrade your ammo, which you do as an unlock after this level, you're going to feel that power surge, because you're going to kill them much more easily. But yeah, and then XP, you don't get levels, you get skill points. So every time the XP bar fills up, you get a new skill point. So there's like two main loops for every level. You have the one where you drive around, collect minerals, and kind of prep your base and do research, and it's a bit more laid back. But if you play multiple people, you can have like one person going grabbing the minerals, the other person driving around, killing off the enemies. I haven't really figured out the exact balancing of cooperative play yet. That hasn't been play tested that much. We'll need to see how that's going to work out. So I choose when to do that. So I can do that before I collected all the minerals, before I killed all the enemies on the level. I kind of control when I want to take on the swarm. And when I do, you need to evacuate the base for it to actually start running. So I want to go and remove my drill rig, put on my radar so I can actually see the enemies on the map when they come. And as soon as I drive out, it's going to lock down the base and the wave starts. So we can see them coming here, so I can position myself. Let's see, here they are. So I'm gonna position myself so I can get help from the turret. And I need to kind of kite the enemies a bit. And then we have new waves or new groups of enemies coming in. And that's actually triggered by the number of enemies I killed from the previous group. So, but it actually needs to change ammunition based on the enemy it's gonna shoot. And that actually has a tiny bit of a reload time. So you have to be strategic about attacking enemies. So you kind of want to avoid it reloading between colors. I was actually thinking about having that as an explicit thing, like you toggle it. That was a thing at a point. Also that you would have to do it as a loadout. Because that would mean like you can be 4 tanks driving together here. And that would be kind of a cool mechanic. That you have to choose the color. I like the music here though. This is very much inspired by StarCraft. StarCraft has amazing like just background music while you're building your base and kind of the laid back gameplay. And maybe I can show it sometime. I have a branch of the game where this is actually a planet. So it's really, really cool. I really wanted it to work. Because you kind of drive around the planet. It's a treadmill kind of thing. And it's really, really cool. But it creates so much problem for gameplay. First of all, the map needs to be a lot bigger to actually wrap it around a sphere. It's harder to navigate. Like, where am I in the world? The base suddenly has 4 sides it can be attacked. Which isn't fun. And also the physics and everything is just much, much harder to do. So I really like that we just have this piece of a planet that you drive around on. So I just hooked up Google Play. So I had my cousin visiting last weekend and he was playtesting on his Android phone. So that's really cool. Yes, I have distribution on both iOS and Android. So if you want to try the game, I'm happy to serve you on either device. And I have some cool ideas for loadouts. We're gonna have a Tesla coil. We're gonna have like a, can't remember the name of it, kind of ballista. What's it called? I can't remember. And you're gonna have, you know, Helldivers. You kind of have a spaceship hovering you. We're gonna have the same here. So you have a spaceship that can send down like bigger things like bombs and lasers and stuff like that. So that's also going to be pretty cool. And kind of want it to feel, I guess, like a mix of Helldivers and Vampire Survivor or something. I guess the third crossover here would be like Return Fire. Return Fire is one of the most fun games I've ever played. It's just having that top-down view, driving these like tiny... I remember Micro Machines as well. I really enjoy games where you kind of control something at a high... Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I just really love it. I guess it's because I played a lot with like what do you call them, like Matchbox cars when I was a kid. Maybe that's why I feel like sitting here, like building a world and how to control it and everything. It's really, really cool. Now I have to choose minigun over radar. So now I can't see where the enemies are coming from, but when I find them, then I'm gonna kick their asses. So the minigun is like mounted on the... Oh, should still... It's like mounted on the side there, and actually it has its own turn. Oh, this was a bit more difficult. Kablam. That was actually quite fun. It is more fun when it gets more intense, which is a good sign. And with the design of the enemies and stuff, I think we can have like a shit ton of enemies. So one thing I'm thinking of like playing this is that it's a little bit too easy to take out the enemies. I wonder if we... Okay. A little bit too easy to take out enemies. And also now you go from like 2-shot to the first power, and then you 1-shot everything. But you can also say, no, you have to do 3 shots, right? On the first enemies. And then you power up once and you take them in 2 shots, and then power up again and you take them in 1 shot. And then it's more time to introduce new enemies, right? So you kind of have to do 3 shots. Power 1 equals 2 shots, and power 2 equals 1 shot. Now time for new enemies. You could argue that you should be able to upgrade like turret. Maybe we could do that, because we do have... Oh, maybe that's a thing you can use minerals on. So when you deploy, that would be actually really cool. So when you have them here and you tap them, whoop, you have like upgrades for them. Or skills, right? But those skills are if that should be mineral based, or even if the turret itself had XP, like got XP, so you would have skill points to use on the turret to upgrade it. That would be really cool. Like every time I play through it, I have new ideas, and every time my friends play through it, they also have new ideas. Cool, but I'm really happy that we have this base loop now that is fun to play. And this is definitely gonna be the game. This is gonna be the loop. So this is gonna be the mechanisms, and we just have to make them